And we're live. Yeah, sorry about that. All the private planes represented here, some came in late, so. But we're here tonight. Welcome. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I see that it's 1 a.m. in London right now, so thank you for staying up and watching us. Really appreciate that. I want to welcome you to our company update. Yes, I am still alive. We're in Florida now, obviously, and tonight's meeting will be centered around the real estate aspect of what we're doing in some forms, but primarily just an update to what the company is doing and the people that are part of what we're doing. So if you're tuning in and having trouble, you can text the person that invited you, your host, to find out more information about how to maybe do this or get audio. We're seeing some issues with that, but we're going to have several speakers tonight that will be explaining their relevance to the company, why it is that we're doing business together, what it is we're talking about. But my job tonight is to open things and give people a better understanding of where we're at as a company with this upcoming NASDAQ listing, and then primarily what our next steps are after our third IPO. Yes, if you, those of you that have been with us through our first couple IPOs, this now will obviously bring the most attention, most awareness to what we're doing as a company, and will also bring with it the highest level of scrutiny. So that's my job, to ensure that we're prepared for these next steps, that everything we're doing has a firm foundation and it can be well defended, and also has forward thinking in mind so that we can address those issues in an ongoing fashion for the next quarter, for the next year, and the next decade. And the people represented here today in this meeting have a part to play in that, and I'm going to introduce you to a couple of those people. Three of them, to be exact, will be presenting their companies, their visions, and as you hear what they have to say, as they're explaining their business operations, you'll get to understand why it is I'm excited about what's happening in our discussions with these various businesses and business owners, and we can take these next steps together, and everyone will understand why it is these decisions are being made, and be excited as, again, we take these next steps in the public space with our NASDAQ listing. Those of you that haven't seen, an update came out April of this year, again, identifying the obvious, our flagship product, GTV, which our IP, and everyone understands the costs involved with getting to this point, developing this technology. We did this for the reasons as stated in the prospectus and in other company get-togethers, but the flagship product being GTV and the advertising agency is the bedrock that really benefits all of our partners that are here today and will be with us in the future, because everyone knows our mantra, our business ethos, which is growth by acquisition, and acquiring companies that are thought leaders and business leaders in their space is how we will continue to do business. And no matter what industry you represent, in working with Midnight, whether it's from an investment standpoint or an acquisition standpoint, GTV and the ad agency, the marketing, is the lifeblood for any one of those particular industries, any one of those particular businesses. So it's a great foundation for all of our new relationships to see how they can benefit immediately from partnering with us, being part of what we're doing. They can see immediate benefit from working with us and in a lot of cases becoming a wholly owned subsidiary, which is what we obviously are interested in as we grow. But more importantly, it's the people, the baseline numbers, the revenue streams, all those things can look great on an Excel spreadsheet, on a graph, on a chart. But at the end of the day, it's the people that create those environments, that create those revenue models, that create those products and then IP that give us the ability to have credibility in these niche industries inside of our five verticals. So I don't have to go over our five verticals. Everyone understands that. But inside of those verticals, it's made up with people, and that really is the primary driver for what it is that we do. We have a lot of ideas, a lot of things we plan on doing, but when the rubber meets the road, it's the people that are delivering those products that are effectuating that vision is really what helps us steer the bus in the right direction. So we get all the right people on the bus, right? For any fans of Jim Collins here that read those books, okay? Any Jim Collins fans? Okay. So you get the right people on the bus, and then you figure out where the bus is going to go. Okay, so I'm a big fan of that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. So that's how we do business, just to give you more insight to the people in this room. Because the people in this room are a lot less versed in what it is we're doing here, but they are here to help us enrich our future. So I'm excited about that. But GTV, again, our flagship product, people are very excited about what's happening on all these various platforms. The money we've raised to date has gone into enriching that network that allows us to reach. Uh, right now, we've aggregated over 1 billion subscribers in our content creators base. That's what that represents. So we have a significant opportunity to reach people and bring our advertisers, sponsors, and current business partners to bear so that we can advertise what it is they're doing. But GTV, again, being the primary driver for that, is, as you've been aware, you've downloaded on your phone. Hopefully, everybody here has downloaded GTV on their phone. Maybe seen it on Apple TV, Google Play Store. Where else we Roku. I mean, we're everywhere right now. I'm pretty proud of this particular. If I ever had a tattoo, this would be the tattoo that I got right on my shoulder, and I'm very proud of that pinwheel of places that GTV exists. But that is obviously fully functioning. It's not a beta. We're in alpha, and we are delivering this to the public. But with our next round of press releases, we will then engage the market with our existing shareholders, our existing subsidiaries and investment portfolio to push them out through the GTV portal. But our midnight industries, people are excited to hear that we are well on the way with our TGS acquisition. Everyone here has seen the press release. The TGS, that they're a public company in Canada, and we agreed to acquire them for $18 million. And they really fill out our esports division now. We're getting away from the competitive side of things that Kenny was responsible for building and getting into bringing more relationships that help us enrich the media side of things and the event side of things. So TGS, it's great reading if you want to look that company up if you haven't already. I want you to do that. You can see the type of company that we partner with and the type of business owners that we really value inside of um, inside Midnight Gaming. Automotive, I know there's a lot of people today that are tuning in from our automotive vertical, so I want to address that really quickly. The next round of acquisitions coming in the automotive space is very exciting. Sorry, Chris, the text, I didn't see the text you sent me, but I think at last count, we were acquiring in the automotive space, $52 million and onboarding $20 million in revenue in the automotive space. So that right there is a great snapshot that helps everyone understand how we do business. We are not in the startup space. We're not in the speculation space. Us being one of the upcoming NASDAQ companies, 3,301, since there's only 3,300 NASDAQ companies today. Access to capital is what really brings people around our opportunity. But we invest in things that are fully formed, operational, and revenue producing. And our automotive vertical will be the next splash in the headlines and our press releases. Again, if you saw our press releases for TGS, you can see we put it out on all the wires. And automotive will be our next big splash that happens, that the public will see. That midnight gaming itself will now all of a sudden transition from an esports only, a media only offering to now a holding company to a conglomerate model, which is really what our DNA is. And so I challenge you as an investor, as a new relationship, again, to read everything we've done up until now to get to know us. That will help you better understand why we're doing what we're doing. These are not new ideas. We've decided to go down this track many years ago, and we're slow drip marketing now our intentions with real opportunities. And that's what people in this room today represent. So automotive, we see tremendous upside. We see tremendous value in investing in that space, from dealerships to interior companies to exterior companies, those vendors that work inside of that space, to the wholesale side. And we have committed many resources in that effort to bring those relationships in-house, either in investment or in full-fledged acquisition. So we're excited about that. Finance, if you know me, you know that's my background. I'm a banker by trade. That's my deal. Obviously, we're going to have some offerings to announce in the insurance industry, mortgage industry, and retail finance. Real estate development, the fourth pillar, if those of you are following along, looking at our most recent update right here. The fourth pillar, real estate development, management, brokerage. That's what we're going to have people talking about here today. Energy, very excited about this space. It's constantly changing, but anything that's in turmoil has a lot of opportunities for profit. Obviously, a lot of things changing hands, a lot of real estate changing hands, a lot of overlap for all these industries. But our real estate and energy verticals, there's a lot of opportunities that come into play when we're talking about these two particular industries. But enough for me. I've been moaning on and on here, and I want to introduce some of my newest relationships, people that I feel will add value to midnight gaming now and in the future, and the people that are driving these opportunities, that are operating these businesses. I want to give them a platform to speak directly to you so that you can see them, hear what they have to say, and what we'll do later is continue the conversation and maybe a Q&A environment at another meeting where we're going to have people to be able to text in their questions and things like that. But at least I want to introduce you to my friends down here in Florida and help give them an opportunity to explain why they're valuable, what they see their partnership producing with Midnight, the short term and the long term. So right now I want to welcome Doug Smith to come up. And Doug can have the floor. Yeah,
It's all good. We got audio, good to go. Awesome. Well, like I said, my name is Doug Smith. Got connected with Ken not too long ago down here in Florida. grown pretty close to each other, helped him out in some other business ventures, but I'm here to talk about very specific venture that Midnight itself has posed a lot of interest in. So I'm really excited to talk with you guys about it. We have a little presentation that I'm going to go ahead and give, and it's obviously a completely new vertical that Midnight would be a part of. We're obviously as a company just looking for the right partner to kind of be a part of this. So I think we'll go ahead and start the presentation now. Um, Today, what I want to talk to you about is a revolutionary hydration product. And I know when you think of hydration, you think of Gatorade, you think of Body Armor, Powerade, Liquid IV, anything. This product has an underlying IP that has been in development for about 20 years or so. It is the fastest, most effective hydration product ever made, and its underlying base technology has a lot more uses other than just hydrating the body clinically faster than anything else in the market. So we'll go to the next slide, kind of introduce a little bit about what it is. So just want to, brief introduction to the team. We have our founder, Chief Operations Officer, Paul Knox. Paul has been in the formulation space for about 20 years or so and has a deep knowledge on what it really takes to create a chemically bonded product that functions better than anything on the market. So this has been in the works for some time, and we're finally ready to release it to the public as one of the most effective products. Ruben Hammond, he's going to be our Chief Executive Officer. Ruben has been CEO of Foot Locker Canada, and a couple of other Fortune 500 companies. So he is going to run our operations since he is the most qualified. Doug Smith is actually my father. He's going to be our Chief Revenue Officer, has a deep knowledge and understanding of the deep direct-to-consumer space, heavily involved in retail, seasoned executive for 25, 30 years. And then myself, Doug Smith Jr., I'm going to oversee sales and kind of serve as the chief of staff to the entire team, just kind of assist with anything that our upper leadership really needs. We'll go ahead to the next slide. So hydration, when people think of this, they think of headache, they think of drowsiness, they think of anything that really brings their body down. And our objective is to really spread awareness that 75% of the world at pretty much all the time is dehydrated. You might not think it, but clinically, you are dehydrated. 75% of the entire 7.5, 8 billion people in the entire world are dehydrated, and dehydration is actually the leading cause of death globally. So being properly hydrated regulates your body temperature, keeps your joints lubricated, delivers all the nutrients that you need, promotes better sleep, fight infections, and it can improve focus, which our product does very, very well. And I'll get into more detail about that later. We'll go ahead to the next slide. So our product, we're calling it Excel. And the name, the product itself, can be changed, but that is what our holding company is now. We're obviously looking for the correct team of people to help better understand what our image should look like in the open market in this space. So we deliver electrolytes and hydrate the body faster than anything else in the market, period. And this is clinically tested. We are probably the only company in this space that actually does clinical trials on basically saying that we actually hydrate the body faster than anything. We've tested all the competitors, and we do know this for a fact. We're zero sugar for the FDA guidelines. Obviously, we're going to do testing on diabetics to see how this affects, spiking levels, et cetera, but we are zero sugar. It's easy on the gut. Obviously, there's a lot of other products out there that claim to be zero sugar, but what people don't know is that zero sugar products actually basically tear apart the inside of your gut wall, and that's not healthy. That's what can lead to autoimmune disease. It can lead to leaky gut syndrome. It can lead to a bunch of other underlying medical issues that people aren't aware of. So when you see zero sugar, it actually, how they achieve the zero sugar is there's a medical component inside of it that is, quite frankly, very bad for your insides. So between the difference of zero sugar and no sugar is very, very good. We start taking effect in as little as 2 minutes. And what I mean by that is when you drink another product off the shelf, whether it's a powdered mix form, Gatorade, etc., it actually takes 45 minutes to an hour to actually start taking into effect in your body. And what people don't think about in this space is efficacy. If you don't have a product that is effective in getting into your cells fast, any nutrients that you are drinking is actually going to have zero benefit to yourself. So if you drink anything that's heavily sugar related, any form of Gatorade, liquid IV, and just for a fun fact, liquid IV is actually 70% sugar. So 30% of liquid IV is actually somewhat of what you need. But that's what people don't look into. But we look into the deep facts that if you take a full thing of liquid IV, it's actually 70% sugar. And we test this in the lab and we put it through a granular testing, and it's pure cane sugar. That's the number one main ingredient, which is obviously terrible for you. The only other faster hydration method is taking an IV and sticking it directly into your eye. We are the fastest liquid solution for better hydration, and that is period clinically tested. Go to the next slide. So we wanted to kind of have a more sophisticated look. So these are just a couple of the package renderings that we had. Obviously, none of these are final, but we wanted to have something that really expressed what our goal is to be sophisticated, to be different, and kind of stand out amongst everyone else. A lot of the other competitors in the market have bright colors, lots of words that people don't understand. They try to make themselves something that they're not. We want to be different than that. That's the whole reason that we're coming to the market, is to be different and, quite frankly, change the hydration space for good, because, quite frankly, it needs it. Next slide, please. Go to the next. Thank you. So most hydration in sports drinks use sugar to help with the absorption of electrolytes. So the classical method is it's a sodium glucose method, which basically takes into account salt and sugar in order to carry electrolytes to your body. So when you drink a substance, whether it's alcohol, whether it's Gatorade or something, there is an underlying mechanism in there that actually takes all of the nutrients to get it into your cells. What we have developed is a delivery system, and that's what we're going to focus on, is the delivery system of taking that liquid, all of the good electrolytes, hydration supplements, and getting it into your body as fast as possible. Sugar is not absorbed quickly into the body. That's why a lot of the traditional sports drinks today take so long to absorb, because sugar is actually destroying all of those powerful nutrients that claim to be in all these other products. And that's what people are missing. So when you drink a Gatorade or anything that's a sugary substance, you might get that initial boost of energy because you are ingesting sugar, but you will notice that 45 minutes to an hour later, you are going to have a traumatic downturn, which at that point, what's the use of actually consuming? Sugar can cause cramping, bloating, nausea, and it's obviously not recommended for diabetics and children for obvious reasons. Our product is safe for infants. It's safe for elderly people. Quite frankly, we're doing a lot of work overseas at helping to stop. I know this sounds maybe a little bit disgusting, but diarrhea is actually one of the leading causes of death in children in whether malnourished or in foreign countries. Our product can actually stop that and get people back to health. So we are seeing ourselves actually interact with a lot of governments in order to get this product into the hands of entire countries. So that's a whole different part of the company that we're also really excited about. Go to the next slide, please. So we absorb faster than any product in the market, period. Like I said, our underlying mechanism is actually rice-based. What I mean by that is that our delivery system is comprised of a rice derivative that takes what we have in the product and gets it into your cells in 15 minutes or less. In some instances, we see 10 minutes or less, and you will start feeling an instant effect in 2 minutes. Absorption rate is critical in electrolyte and hydration products for optimal performance. You want what you're drinking to get into your body as fast as possible. Maybe same thing with alcohol. You want to feel the effects of alcohol. You want the effects of something good in your body. If you're drinking something just for the taste of it, you're not really doing anything for yourself. So this is optimal for anyone who just wants to feel their best. For athletes, we've done tests on Tour de France players, NBA players, PGA players. We've had it in the hands of pretty much any person in the sports industry. Most electrolytes and hydration drinks take up to 45 minutes to absorb quickly to the body. We use an underlying ingredient called electrolyte that takes approximately 15 minutes or less to fully absorb electrolytes. I'm going to go through depth of what that is on the next slide. So the science. So we call our underlying base electrolyte. It's a carrier of electrolytes, and it's rice-based that helps speed up the electrolyte absorption rate as well as fatigue and improved muscle function. What's actually really interesting about our base, we've actually even been approached by pharmaceutical companies. You'll see Tylenol, all these other major companies coming out with liquid and powder packet forms of aspirin. Our product can actually be incorporated with these to help speed up the effect of aspirin. So we're actually going to start getting into the pharmaceutical space and start doing testing in pill form and in liquid form in order to get medicinal uses into the body faster. So that is a whole other space other than just creating a hydration and electrolyte product. Vitamin D complexes are obviously really important in carrying electrolytes to your body, and that's obviously from the rice base. And the B vitamins, also help reduce excess fatigue caused by dehydration. And you need carbs. What people don't think, people think of carbs as like such a negative thing. But if it's the right carb, it can actually have a very positive effect on your body. So we use a couple key crucial carbs in order to have that delivery mechanism faster to your body. It can be a very positive effect. So go ahead to the next slide, please. I think our guy left our table back there. So clean ingredients is what we're all about. We're non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan-friendly, no artificial flavors or sweeteners, zero sugar. This is kind of the whole point of why we're here. We wanted to create a fully all-natural product. All of our flavors are natural. We extract real flavors from real fruits, real plants, nothing artificial. And that's what really separates ourselves from the rest of the competition. Next slide, please. Now, it might be a little bit easier to see on the screen here, but this is just kind of a graphic to explain the differences between Gatorade, Sarah, Noon, Liquid IV, Roar, Body Armor. Just wanted to show a visual of how we're different compared to the rest of the competition. So this is probably the wrap up of what this is going to be, but this underlying IP has a lot more uses than just being hydration and electrolyte product. This can be used for medical. It could be actually formed into a gummy form. It could be great for elderly people in nursing homes. We've actually already done that because, like I said, dehydration is one of the leading causes of death. Elderly people, especially people with dementia and Alzheimer's, forget to drink. But honestly, even just one packet of this can significantly help the elderly population. It's kind of a soft spot. My grandma is 90 years old. She struggles to drink, always dehydrated, really has a hard time with her health. And this product has actually really turned her life around to where she could probably enjoy her final years. And it's kind of cool seeing a product that you've worked so hard on for so long actually make a difference in something in your life. We've actually given it to other people as well. It's cool to really see it make a massive difference. So, like I said, other than just a hydration product, this is an IP. We have a delivery mechanism that can be used in current drinks. It can be used medicinally. It can be used, to solve a lot of issues overseas. So we're really excited. We've had a lot of interest in this, and partnering with the right people in order to kind of see our vision of what we're trying to do, and that's what we're looking for. So go ahead to the next slide. And that'll wrap up my little short spiel on this. I want to give you just enough to get you really excited. We have a full pro forma, we have a full business plan, I have a full professional go-to-market plan. So obviously this is my email, this is my business email. So anyone that is interested in learning more about this, it's moving fast. Definitely don't want to miss out on it. And obviously just to be here and present, something we've worked so hard on for so long, is about all I can ask for. So appreciate you guys listening, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next person. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. That may be a surprise to some people. most people actually. Um, our fitness and nutrition investments are on deck. So kind of the surprise this evening. Uh, Great job, Doug. Thanks, you, Doug. Before we get into the mix, we have a lot of opportunities inside of this particular field. We have our eyes on it. People like Doug, his father, scientist, what's his name? Paul. Uh, they have some significant IP that we're very interested in. And the nutrition and fitness space will be something upcoming for us that we will be involved with. And Doug will be one of those people that represents those opportunities coming to us in the space. But thanks again, Doug. Now I'm going to bring up a friend of mine, local, Tampa, okay, Tampa resident, um, Chris Carmizos, to explain exactly what he does and why Partners with Midnight is an exciting opportunity. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Ken. I think we've got a slide deck coming up here. Just a minute. My name is Chris Karamitsos. I am the managing director for the Leisure Investment Properties Group. I'm also a partner in the firm. And you should have that's, I think that's the last page or something. There. No, that's the next. That's the next page. Okay. You go back to the previous, keep going. Keep going. I think they've got your slide deck up. Wait, that's the last page of my slide deck. There we go. Keep going back up to the front. We're almost there. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate your time. I'm going to tell you a little bit about us, who we are, what we do, how we began, where we are headed in the future, and how we think we can be of service to Midnight Gaming. So we are the Leisure Investment Properties Group. We provide brokerage services, advisory services to the investment community in the leisure airspace. More particularly, we're talking about the golf airspace. We deal with golf courses, golf master plan communities, golf resorts. Same thing with marinas, marina resorts, master plan communities, and also the same with RV parks, RV resorts. We provide brokerage services to investors in those product types. We are in the process now of creating our hospitality division, where we will focus on boutique hotels in destination markets. So let's go to the next slide, please. I don't know if you can see that or not, but so the Leisure Investment Properties Group actually began as the National Golf Group for the real estate firm of Marcus and Millichap Real Estate Investment Services. Sure thing. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. AV was not my strong suit, and was way above my pay grade even in fifth grade. So, uh, getting back to where we were, in 2008 we began as the national golf group for Marcus and Millichap Real Estate Investment Services. And at that time, the economy was imploding, which actually you would think is counterintuitive to starting a brokerage firm or brokerage group at that particular time. But it really worked to our advantage. Within a year, 2 years, there were a great deal of golf courses going back to banks. We got a lot of REO work in the very first few years of our existence as a group. And we brought something to the table that was very unique to brokerage for golf courses at that time, which was institutional grade underwriting and marketing, and that's something that the industry had not seen before. So we leveraged our expertise in the golf industry, in the brokerage industry, and financial analysis to bring that to the market. So basically, what we do now and did then was we would underwrite a golf asset the way an investment bank would underwrite a shopping center for a REIT. And that's something that nobody had ever done up until that point. So that worked very well. We expanded into marinas. We grew a marina group that became an integral part of our entire division. And by by about 2020, just after COVID hit, we really had outgrown the confines of Marcus and Millichap. We became our own group, our own brokerage firm, the Leisure Investment Properties Group, LLC, based in Tampa, Florida. So today, what we do is we service not just the golf industry, but the marina industry. We also service the RV and resort industry. You can go to the next slide, please. So currently, we are the leading, actually, the industry's leading brokerage firm that brokers the sale of leisure investment properties, whether it's marinas, golf courses, golf resorts. Our mission, quite simply, is to help our clients create and preserve wealth. And by working with us, what we do is we guarantee them that they will be armed with the information and the tools to ensure that they make good business decisions. You can go to the next slide, please. So our value proposition is we bring exceptional transactional experience to the table. We've got about 150 years of experience within our group. We bring institutional grade underwriting and marketing of leisure investment properties. No one in the industry has the database of qualified investors that we have, about 35,000. We can go to the next slide. And as I touched on before, we have about 150 years of expertise. Our disposition and acquisition and research activities are also industry cutting edge. And we can go to the next slide. Let's skip that one and go to some of our clients with whom we've worked extensively. If you're in the golf industry or you know the golf industry, or maybe you're even a member of a club or something, you may have heard of some of these groups. Arcus Golf is a huge golf conglomerate in the golf airspace. They own and operate and manage a portfolio of golf courses. Same thing with Kemper. I think you're familiar with Trump Golf. We've done a lot of REO work, so Wells Fargo is there, GE Capital, Bank of America, Club Corp, which is now called Invited, Oxip, which was a private equity firm out of New York. These are all clients of ours that we have a great relationship with. You can go to the next slide, please. So just some of the testimonials. Trump Golf, we sold the Ritz-Carlton in Jupiter, Florida to the Trump organization a few years back, and got some pretty good accolades for how we handled that entire transaction. It's very complex, very sophisticated. The buyer had to assume about $50 million of membership liability, and we wrote the entire plan on how they would be able to manage that, and they did. Next slide, please. This is another testimonial from Prudential when we sold a resort in Virginia. Next slide, please. So let's go one more slide to talk about our team. My partners, Steve Akovich was about a 27-year man at Marcus and Millichap. We started the group together. He's brokered the sale of hundreds and hundreds of all kinds of real estate, not just leisure. My background is as a PGA professional. I've been in every facet of the golf business, from being uh, a sales rep to a teaching pro to a head golf professional, the general manager. I was also involved in the real estate business for nearly my entire life. I worked in my father's real estate firm as a kid growing up. I was the only seventh grader who knew what a cap rate was. So a little geeky there. Some of our other partners, Terrence Vanek, he came out of writing mortgages for KB right after the crash, and came to work for us as a Duke grad and a University of Florida uh, grad as well, from where he got his master's. Next slide, please. Robert Waldron is another partner of ours. He came out of Billy Casper Golf. Before that, he was at Lake Mason and doing golf course financing. He purchased golf courses for Billy Casper Golf. And then we've got a team of analysts and support staff. Basically, we're a very diverse group of individuals. Our entire team, including the Marina division and the RV division, we have a team of 7 brokers. We have 4 support staff. And we'll go to the next slide, please. So this is a map of basically where we've conducted business, where we've closed golf courses throughout the United States. Go to the next slide. We have a partial list of the golf courses that we've advised, listed, and closed, and underwritten. Go to the next slide. Another part of the list. So all told, we have closed, advised, listed, underwritten over $4 billion worth of leisure assets since the start of our group back in 2008. We can go to the next slide. We've been featured in a number of publications. This is Golf Inc. We do a lot with Golf Inc. We present every year at their conferences. Same thing with NGCOA. Next slide, please. We were featured when we started our new group, became our own brokerage entity, Leisure Investment Properties LLC. And then go to the next slide, please. Just another example of the publications that we've been featured in PGA Magazine. And you go to the next slide, you can see all our names on here. And so one of the things that we're excited about is this partnership with Midnight Gaming, where we're going to leverage our relationships in the leisure airspace to procure good quality leisure investment opportunities for consideration by Midnight. We've underwritten a bunch of them. We've looked at them. We know what would fit the criteria, what would be a good fit for the company, and we're excited that we can put those on the table. The other thing that we do, and I don't know that we have the slide deck for it, but something else that we put together that we publish every year is our investment report. We do that each spring. There's nothing like it in the industry. It goes through the entire transaction market of the golf industry. We also do one for the marina industry. If we don't have it out by the end of March, every institutional group is calling me, blowing up my phone, blowing up my email. When are we going to get this report? And this report gave me basically, well, one thing it's done for us outside of our track record is the report has really established us, our credibility, our reputation in the industry. For those that just have a cursory look at it. And I can tell you I call this kind of my rock and roll moment, is that, how you hear these stories of musicians, the very first time they ever hear one of their songs played on the radio. Well, one day I'm getting ready to go to the office and I've got the television on, either CNBC or Fox Business, one of them, and I'm putting my tie on and the TV's on in the background, and I hear them talking about leisure and then the golf business. And next thing I know, I hear the lady say, "Well, according to the Leisure Investment Properties Group, average price of golf courses for last year is actually 34% higher than they were the year before." And there's the page from our investment report plastered right there on the television, on national television. So I said that's kind of my rock and roll moment for that. But it's a great report. You can download it off our website. We have it published there. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, they can just go to which is THELIPG.com. We're the Leisure Investment Properties Group, THELIPG.com. That'll get you to all our partners, all our brokers. You'll see me. You'll see how you can contact me off that website. You can download our research reports. You can look at some of the properties that we have for sale. Last year, I can tell you that in 2022, we closed on 24 transactions of $123 million worth of real estate. This year, we have closed so far $30 million worth of real estate. We have another $60 million under contract and another $80 million in inventory that we anticipate being under contract within the next 90 days. So we are the most active brokerage group in the industry, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in and giving me an opportunity to give you a little bit of information about us, what we do, and how we anticipate helping Midnight Gaming going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Okay. Good. Okay. Great. All right. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight. Appreciate that. and audience watching. Sorry you can't partake in what people are getting here. Food smells really good, even though I haven't had any for sure. But thanks, Doug. Thanks, Chris, for the first show. I guess that's so. My goal tonight, outside of feeding my friends and having a night out at the Union, which is my new home base here in Florida, is to bring the personalities to bear. So you can get to meet again the people that are working with us now, that we're interested in working with long term. Nothing we do is short term here. Everything is long term. The relationships that we see here, we see value in them being partners with us long term. So all the things you are hearing tonight, remember that we're interested to build value within our company and bringing, again, these thought leaders and business leaders into our organization to help us and help you as an investor in the long term. So our final speaker of the evening, I'm going to bring him up here. Douglas, you come on up. Appreciate you being here. I have mentioned some local opportunities here in Florida. And Chris and Douglas are the key relationships that are helping us explore those opportunities with our developments that we're very excited about bringing to our investor. These developments and the people that are working on those with us, the relationships that come with Douglas, to come with Chris, are very exciting and very helpful and also influential. So we want to continue to maintain a presence of seniority. We want to be the leaders in the spaces that we're involved with, the spaces that we're investing in, and the people that are presenting you this evening, they have those qualities, and they will help Midnight move forward in the development space, which is a lot of heavy lifting down here specifically with this Pimmiquant property and other places that we're interested in exploring. But Douglas, I appreciate you being here tonight. Look forward to hear what you have to say. So we are investors.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you. Pleasure certainly to be here. And we're going to change gears a little bit and talk about being disruptive in a leisure and lifestyle segment. And I will tell you and my partner Frank Dosich here with me tonight, and our Chief Operating Officer Jonathan Schoenfeld, we saw an opportunity. Frank and I both were principals in pretty significant, third-party management firms. And we begin to see capital flow in the market in the early 2000s. And today that represents about $2 billion in acquisitions of private clubs. And why are they after these private clubs? It's because when you look at Generation Z, and you look at, the millennials and Generation X, they're looking for opportunities to spend lifestyle and casual time. What's really created an opportunity is, if you look at statistics, is the average age of a marriage since 2008, in the time we all know that was disruptive in our economy, has gone from 23 to north of 32. And during that 9 years, the amount of income and disposable time they have is at the highest level. So it makes sense why Howard Milstein with 8 AM Golf is involved. Apollo is involved. Large, significant firms are in touch with the former speaker that you just saw for an opportunity to acquire these assets. The opportunity lies in those private clubs that are owned by its membership. There's a sense of loyalty and pride. And when you look at our market segment, we've had 4,400 private clubs going back to the 1900s. 1900s. Some of those have traded out to be semi-private or public. Some of those have become some of the most ultra-exclusive clubs in the U.S. There's a sweet spot of about 1,800 to 2,000 private clubs that generate anywhere from $4 to $8 to $15 million in gross revenue. And there's about 2 billion and about 8 players chasing that. The opportunity comes under our acquisition model. We are the first to introduce a triple net lease model in the private club space. Today, when I talk to a private club board that owns a club, they have to go back to their 400 members and say, do you want to sell your club? Do you want to sell the history of your grandchildren? Do you want to sell the history of your name? Or do you want to preserve it? We know the senior leaders in each one of these firms, and they brag about getting a 67% vote to sell their club. In all of the 5 clubs that we did for a member vote, our vote was in excess of 97%. We created an acquisition model that through capital investment and a partnership of sorts, where they retain ownership, we can go out and acquire more and more of these facilities. The best part about it is the market cap. We've identified 1,500 clubs in the U.S. If we get 1% market share, our company goes from a valuation today of 35 to 40 million to $150 million. So the concept is we go to a private club, and all that money that they've been wanting to put into capital and couldn't do, we drive that revenue. Today, stabilization in the next 12 months will be well over 30 million in revenue. We have 6 million in equity in that 30 million. Let me repeat that. We have 6 million in equity in that $30 million of cash flow. And we can continue to do that. So the model is very simple. It's a yield model. We are able to acquire these clubs at $2,600. Most of the people we talk to want brick and mortar. Our lease terms are anywhere from 30 to 99-year leases. We own all the income. Right now, we're generating about a 10% profit yield on all our revenue. You can look at some of our partners and we can tell the story. We'll tell a deeper story about Timaquan because of the strength of that market and really because of how we structured that transaction. We're in 6 different states. Again, each one of these clubs are required for less than $1 million. And we own the economics anywhere from 30 to 50 to 99 years. Our experience, I think as you go through these next 2 slides, you'll see that we have operated in close to 15 different states, resorts that anywhere from Pelican Hill to Lake Las Vegas to, Frank and I personally have took over 600 assets, both lifestyle, resort, club, all those things. So we've been able to build a metric that says, our involvement is been on these real salient factors, or we don't get involved. And, to be able to bring that model and scale that, you'll see that we've already created a corporate team and culture. We have a phenomenal working relationship with your previous speaker, someone I've known for many years. And as he once said, this is truly disruptive. It's silent. We do have a Regulation D offering that we put out to very private people. But this concept alone, since 2016, we've taken it from $0 to 33 million. And that market cap space is about 1,500 clubs. We're looking at 1%, and we can take the company, in excess of 150 million. So as we go through this, the big question I think that any investor would have, and any would be, is can you scale? When you look at the team and the expertise on there, there's a national director of golf who was with Medina for almost 20 years. He knows how to deliver service. We have a CPA firm that represents our financial reporting and all the things that we do from the mechanics of accounting. We have national director of sales, national director of membership. So we have a team that's producing results. when you look at what's happening in our industry right now is, the growth in golf from 21 to 22 to 23 is still in the high teens. Alternative golf facilities are springing up every day. And our whole vision is to create a lifestyle around this vertical. So a real estate vertical that is just not about golf, because when you look at, when we go to acquire a club, we acquire and invest in lifestyle components, outdoor seating, all the things that younger age group is looking for. I was fortunate when we first started this company. I had the opportunity to make a presentation in Stone Street at Mohegan Sun. There were many people in the room, and I had one letter of intent in my pocket. The one question that came from that meeting was, who's your number one target segment? I said 25 to 44-year-old single people. You think about the amount of time they have, the amount of income they have. If you deliver the lifestyle component, one of our, the standard that we set ourselves up to is the W Hotel. We want people to walk into our clubhouses and feel like you're at the W Hotel. So diving right into the portfolio, the reason I'm here a lot is because of Timaquan. Timaquan's in Lake Mary. Timaquan's 25,000 people. Part of Seminole County, which is over 500,000 people. It's a $52,000 a year per capita income. Over 25% of the population is in medical or professional medical service. That's a rich hunting ground. The club itself has gone through a very diversified, unexperienced ownership. The club has created a culture now where the only way to go is to take advantage of what these demographics are. And what attracted us was we were able to acquire this club for, on the surface, about $1. We were able to create a 70-year lease with rent credits. We absolved the debt. We got into this thing for a little about $1.5 million. We found out that there was ancillary land, contiguous to the property, inclusive of the property, that could be developed into a resort home. So the club itself, with 400 members, will do close to $5 million and will net, close to $1 million. The improvements that go into that will generate that, sustain that, and with 70 years, about 15 years of that is no rent. So the cumulative cash flow, and the previous speaker is well tuned with cap rates and gross income multipliers. On a triple net lease, because the land is not held, it's probably about a 10 cap, which is right in that middle ground. So we're able to value that asset somewhere between 8 to 10 million in stabilization for about $2 to $4 million invested. So it's a 2x in Timaquan. What's more exciting about Timaquan is the hotel opportunity. So Purpose Lodging is a group out of Birmingham. The principal, Bill Murray, was with the largest or top 100 hotel management companies. We created a model with them where we create lodging on our facilities. This is one. We own a resort property in Beaufort, South Carolina, Barry Islands of South Carolina, where we're creating another 8 to 10 cottages there for an accommodations concept. The most intriguing thing about Orlando and Timaquan is because of that growth sector, that medical, intrinsic, high-end per capita income, the average ADR, and for those who have no business, you know what I'm talking about, they expect in excess of $325 to $330. So it mandates Hilton's, number one brand, which would be a Curio brand. Each one of the two principals in the lodging group, and I know Ken has met one of the principals, they bring with them, right now they're operating close to 40 facilities. They're acquiring 3. They have 6 on deck. They're in the development space. They have underwritten this in the sense that we can acquire the land for probably $1 million. We can build a concept for about 16, and we can exit at somewhere around $475,000 to $495,000 a door. at 28 million. So we're not only doubling our money in this investment, we're also complementing our club investment, as well as the 2,000 members that we have nationwide. So everything we do is in a very concentric circle and is very aligned and has vision and purpose, which is going to take you over to our acquisition pipeline. You can see that, what we want to create there. The Curio Collection is a water park. It's a golf lodging component. And their initial feasibility studies show that they can generate 70%. They can generate 6.75 million. It's about a 30% margin. With the reach of midnight gaming and the relationships, and this becomes a center point, a destination point, if you will, that I think brings a great complement to the growth in the real estate vertical for midnight gaming. This company, you can see we've shared that, with all the assets that are under contract and moving forward with us, we'll be in excess of 30 million in the next 12 months. That generates enough capital for us at about 10% yield for our investors. So we easily see this company being in that $35 million present value range. We've spoken at length about, what's the availability of a wholly owned subsidiary, or is it a partial ownership? The principals in this, our company is owned by nearly 75% of that sitting at this table right here. So we make all those decisions. I will tell you that if we wanted to, take a company and turn it into a $50 million company, we're not that excited about that. But to bring on a partner and turn it into a $150 million company, we're very excited about that. And the next slide I'll show you is really shows the build out of what our right now our regulation D is calling for 50 million. That's 10 additional leases at about $4 million, acquisition of another 4 properties, mostly probably through our partners here. And our cottage concept, generating again upwards of $130 million. At that point, the company, has a book value of somewhere around 150 to 170 million. And that's on an investment of 50 million. So what we're buying is we're buying cash flow, and we are converting clubs from a standard go play golf, leave, and come back to play golf the next day to a club that's a home away from home. And it's easy for us to obtain these kind of votes and buy-in because in each one of our clubs there's a buy-in from our membership. And the last thing that these clubs want to do is sell to someone. And, over the years, we've watched, clubs that were forced to go to a access to public model, which really deteriorated their revenue stream or eroded their revenue stream. We have a model now where we can preserve their private club status, which is very important in this world. It's our ID. It's also a barrier to entry because much of our competitors say, it's too easy for me to go buy a cash flow multiple and not have to deal with all this. Well, we figured out a very seamless transition to go in and offer capital to these member-owned private clubs and to be able to acquire this cash flow and take advantage of liquidity and potential exit just down the road. The other partnership opportunities, you can see that we're really concentrated a lot, mostly, in the Southeast. We feel that the population and the demographics will give us enough to turn this into the kind of numbers that we're talking about. We do have a property that's in Colorado, as you see there, that creates a whole new avenue in terms of complementing skiing with golf. And, if a member can go to its club and be able to book, a 4 seasons reservation, there's no one doing it. And, it's a very boutique opportunity, but at the same time, 150 million is not boutique. And there's enough money out there that will buy portfolios and not single assets. That's what our exit looks like. It's a very qualified exit. It's 6 or 8 parties out there that, their currency and, is well over $2 billion. Names that we've all heard of, from Apollo to Clear Lake to all those people are getting into space because of the increase in the participation levels that are happening in golf and golf-related assets. In Washington, D.C., Leesburg, Virginia, one of the wealthiest zip codes, Loudoun County, Virginia, one of the wealthiest zip codes in the U.S. We were able to acquire an asset called the Beacon Hill, 285 homes. I think the median price value of this is probably $5.5 million homes. We acquired this asset for $99, 99-year lease at $1. We put the improvements in place. Well, the vertical really started going because we then found ancillary family feeders, like this concept called the ballpark, which as golf grows, we all know that baseball continues to grow. So we acquired majority board seats and a large interest in this ballpark Loudoun because it basically is less than 7 miles from our facility. I think we've all been to a temporary golf facility where you walk into a dusty trailer and you're like, where are the blueprints? Right? We are now going to have a state-of-the-art center right next to this ballpark, about 2,400 square feet, with 6 simulators, high-end concept wine, probably cigars. That will be our membership office, which totally diversifies anything anybody's done in golf. And we have been able, because of our relationship in the industry, we will actually allow our prospective members, who we expect to pay $25 to $50 to $75,000 for a membership, to be able to play that golf course on a simulator before we open. So it's aligned symmetrically. It makes a lot of sense. We were able to get into that. We then saw an opportunity to take this and really enhance our membership offering from golf to baseball to sports to families to all those things. There's about 3 opportunities we develop right now in metro markets that are close to our clubs that we create that same complement. And I think, as you've seen, Justin Timberlake is getting into space. Alternative golf is very big. The person who capitalized on all this, as we all know, is Top Golf. So these types of opportunities have availed itself to us, and we're starting to encompass that. Another piece of that is Frank and I have been able to acquire the franchise rights for a boating club up and down the East Coast, which would give us opportunities to complement our club membership with access to a boat. COVID was very, very generous to the golf club industry and the private club space specific, which is where our segment is. But it was just as generous to the boating industry. More people are getting involved in boating. Why not bring all of those services under one umbrella? So then we become boating, skiing, golf. We become a true vacation destination product for our members, which I believe fits and is well aligned with the vertical for midnight gaming. You can see it in the last slide here. Our acquisition targets are anywhere from $5 million to upwards of $200 million. So, and those opportunities exist not only in the private club space, but also in that whole opportunity where we can take amenities and drive lifestyle and leisure dollars. The one thing about being in this private club segment is we're somewhat weather intolerant because they pay their membership dues when it rains. So it's a cash flow model, right? It's a reoccurring cash flow model. And separate from, the management business, players like Troon and Kemper and those guys, they're on a very limited 3-year, 5-year revenue stream. We don't have any contracts that are not, at least over 10 years growing to 30 to 50. And all of those is what we all know in this industry as a true triple net lease. So in summary, we have an acquisition model where we can go acquire about 1% share at 20 cents on the dollar. Incidentally, those who are acquiring fee simple interest, if they have to sell it on a rainy day, sell it for 50 cents on the dollar what they paid for it. We have a provision in every one of our leases that for the first 3 years, if we don't hit a neutral threshold, we can walk away. So not only are we acquiring at a very, very aggressive percentage, but we're also minimizing the downside risk to ourselves. So with this model and the ability to take additional capital and grow this portfolio, grow this model, We see great returns year over year, and we see a tremendous disposition value that with that, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to speak. Hopefully we'll be able to entertain some questions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Yes, round of applause. Sure, for our keynote speaker tonight, Alejandro. Am I on? Are you good? Okay. I think I know how to do a lot of my but hopefully tonight we've done what we needed to do to introduce you to our relationships that are on deck here. Opportunities are one thing, but relationships are another. And opportunities abound. Midnight Gaming and its quest to be the best in every niche that we're involved with, from esports to media to now the new niche that you that tuned in tonight and heard about, our nutrition and fitness niche. Our aim is to always be the best, but to work with the best talent in the business. And relationships for us is of primary importance. So business models are one thing, but people are another. So I've met with everyone here tonight personally outside of this meeting. Obviously, I'm introducing each of them now for the first time tonight. And I want to thank each of you for presenting your companies, your opportunities to us. So me as the CEO, we are taking steps and we intend to continue to negotiate with the companies and the people that you've seen this evening. I fully expect us to come to agreements and terms in some form or fashion going forward as our footprint only increases in these spaces that you've seen tonight. Country clubs, private clubs, nutrition business, fitness industry, which is near and dear to my heart, although you may not know it right here. I do have experience in that industry. I do intend to introduce that to the company in the very near future. But again, as we take these next steps, I think it's important to always keep an open mind to new opportunities, new relationships, new territories, new relationships, but always with the focus being on solid relationships. And I'm a people person. I fly all over the country to meet people face to face before we do business to make sure that things are a good fit, that we feel the same, we think the same, and we do business the same. So my pledge to you as an investor that we're going to continue to do that, that if you believe in me, trust me, brought us this far, I'm going to continue to bring in quality relationships and people that do good business as to continue to grow our brand and our footprint in each one of these particular industries. So we'll do a follow-up to this. We have some meetings after this get together tonight, and we're going to have a time where the people that you met tonight will be able to respond to some questions you may have. And I'm going to do that in a different format, a different setting after tonight. But I appreciate you being with us, especially our UK folks. I think it's 3 in the morning now. So you're still with us. But anyhow, appreciate you being with us, and thank you again to our presenters. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, great presentation. All right, we're done, guys. Camera, get all three.